Howdy, folks, and welcome to DEADPIT Radio. I'm the Creepy Kentuckian.
And I'm Uncle Bill. Hello. Good
Hi,
evening.
everyone. We have a fun one to talk about because, we primarily do horror movies. That's kind of what we've done. We've done that for right at 20 years. We're old. We've been around a while. We're so old, in fact, that we have seen these movies in the theater. At least, I think I've seen the first two.
I saw the first two, yeah.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember watching part two in the theater because, like, I went with your favorite person, Nathan Fannin,
Oh, Lord.
and saw that movie in the theater and got to the scene where this is not a joke either, got to the scene where Vanilla Ice does the rap.
And you marked out.
No, we both were sitting there and we both like watched that and we were like, this is not very good. And we got up and left. I think we got up and left the theater. I think we walked around and came back, but like at that point, it was like we realized that it was pretty fucking hokey even then.
It was a cash grab for children. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. I think I was a little too old. When did that? Well, we'll get into that when it comes up here in a minute.
But yeah, I mean, of course, this is one of the more highly anticipated releases the entire year for Arrow. And Arrow's had a fantastic year. I want to showcase it here, guys. This is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Trilogy in 4K. Arrow Video brought this thing out. It's actually coming out on the 15th. I know a lot of people have been highly upset that some pre-orders have shipped out and some have not. But we have went through the entire trilogy again. We're going to talk about this set. And man, before we get into the movies, I've got to put this set over because the transfers themselves are fantastic. This is the first time in a long time where this fires on all cylinders. We're talking like extra material on the discs. We're talking the physical product itself, which we'll get into. Posters for each movie. There's a trading card set in this. There's stickers. There's replica pizza boxes and cards and stuff like that. They went all out with this. And as a fan, especially of this first movie, the first one is the one that really like gets me nostalgic for that time period, the late 80s, early 90s. I wouldn't have done it any different than what they did. I mean, this is the ideal version, like the ideal cover of this movie. This is the teaser poster. When I first saw that as a young kid, I marked the hell out because everyone was into the Ninja Turtles, cartoon and the figures and everything. But I didn't really know at the time that Golden Harvest was behind these movies. So the same studio that did Enter the Dragon and a lot of other like classic martial arts movies got the license to do these live action Ninja Turtle movies. And the first one is pretty dark. Like, I know the comic book was like kind of dark, which I never, like that was a little bit too early for me. I never really got into the comic book, but
yeah, the comic book, from what I understand, was way darker than even like the movie. But the first movie, you're right, like is actually dealing with a lot of like, there's like gang related stuff and underage like smoking and drinking and shit like that and crime. And
theft.
as actual like violence, like different types of like kind of real violence. Like nobody gets killed in that movie or anything, but like it's still pretty mature for a movie around that time period that has a bunch of fucking turtles in it.
Yeah, the first movie, and then like you kind of go from there. I mean, we'll talk about the movies. The first movie from 1990, it's pretty much the Ninja Turtles come to life. Like they're kind of introducing everyone to the turtles, and they kind of tell the story about how the turtles came to be, kind of their origin story, and crime in the city of New York. And they meet up with April O'Neil, who's the reporter, and they're fighting the Foot Clan, right, led by Shredder, who looks fantastic in this movie. Like the look of Shredder is, I always thought was amazing. I was like, that is badass how they brought that character to life in this movie.
Yeah, the weird thing to me is that the first movie I feel like has the best costumes, the best
Production,
suits, the best production value, the best look of everybody.
for
And then
sure.
as you go along,
The
each
best voice
movie
acting
the
too.
best voice acting.
The
Yeah.
dude that did the voice for Raphael in the first movie was great, and they never used him again. It was a different
Yeah.
actor for both of the sequels. So that was a big thing. Like Raphael was kind of like the lead turtle. He's like the badass turtle. Michelangelo's kind of like the goofy turtle. Leonardo is kind of like the, isn't he the brainy turtle?
Supposed to be,
And
yeah.
what about Donatello? What was he?
I never could figure it out. Donatello didn't really have a gimmick. He
Okay.
just had a stick, and that was it.
Did you ever hear the story about the in the UK they had to call them the Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles because there's some sort of negative connotation with ninjas and UK.
That sounds like something they do nowadays for sure.
And they can't even show nunchucks, or they couldn't back in the day. So they had to change it. I don't know what they used, or if they just blurred them out, or whatever else. They couldn't
There's a
show the
whole scene in
nunchucks.
that first movie that they had taken out, like 5 minute scene of them going back and forth on a nunchuck battle.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they did there. But yeah, this was from 1990. Was a gigantic hit. And this was New Line Cinema still in kind of the early days. Like I think the only big hit they had, Critters came out, which is a little nod to Critters. It came out a couple of years before this, and Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, that was New Line. That was the house that Freddy built, man. So this was like one of their big hits after Nightmare on Elm Street. They had a franchise on their hands, and that took us to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze.
Now, by this time, I remember this. Like, first of all, let me just back up and state that, like, I watched the original cartoon of that show. I'm pretty sure from like the very beginning. And like I was fanatical about that cartoon.
And fanatical about the movie, too, right? Because the
Yeah,
first
of course.
movie was like one of those. I mean, this was right around the time where Christmas gift tapes were coming out of like the big summer blockbuster movies. Like you had Batman, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and Who Framed Roger Rabbit was one,
Yeah.
and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was another one. Everybody had that tape, or that was a birthday gift or a Christmas gift, right? Everybody had it.
Yeah. I mean, aside from like G.I. Joe and actually the WWF Hasbro figures, like the Ninja Turtles were like the one of the very first things that I like collected rabidly and like watched everything. I watched the show, I collected the figures. I remember coming home like from school and it was always on like right after school and just like watching it every single day. And then that movie came out and went and saw the movie and like everybody loved the movie. The second one comes out and everybody's like super hot because like there was nobody bigger at that time than Vanilla Ice. And by the way, that was like the biggest part about that movie was that Vanilla Ice was going to be in
It
it.
was the main event. It was the
Yeah,
last 15 minutes of the movie.
yeah. I don't know if it was actually like a really big deal at that time that he was going to be in it because he had just had the Ice Ice Baby song, and then I don't know if he hadn't done Cool as Ice yet or anything, right? He hadn't like began the
That would
downward.
be, I think, around the same time, but I don't know if that came out yet.
Okay, he hadn't. I don't think he was in a downward trajectory yet. He was still kind of like really popular.
Yeah, I mean, this one opens with the Foot Clan, a much smaller Foot Clan. They're stealing shit out of the mall, right? And the Ninja Turtles are kind of thwarting their attempts or whatever. And the pizza delivery boy, played by Ernie Reyes Jr., Keno, I think is his name. They
He's
meet up with
amazing.
him.
He's amazing in this, by the way, in terms of like martial arts.
Well, and he was also in the first movie as well. I think he was stuntman for one of the turtles or whatever.
I'm
And they
sure.
liked him so well because, he's a smaller guy. He could play a much younger character than he was. I still think at this, because he was in like Red Sonja when he was younger,
Yeah,
right? And that was like almost 10 years earlier. And he's done all kinds of like fight choreography and all that stuff. So he was great for this. They did replace the Judith Hoag, who played April O'Neil. They replaced her with Paige Turco, who would play April O'Neil in the next couple movies. And it was some sort of like political thing, like they didn't get along with the first actor that played, which I never, as a kid, I never noticed it was a different actress. Did you?
I never really paid that much
I didn't
attention.
either. But yeah,
No,
there's some issues behind the scenes. But this one, I mean, it's kind of following up on the story they were telling in the first movie about, the ooze that mutated the turtles and made them what they are, and Splinter as well.
it's got like a scientist gimmick with the guy that was in Waxwork. That's who. That's how I remember it.
David Warner,
David
who
Warner.
was also the first choice to play Freddy Krueger back in the day too, which is kind of interesting. But they
And
kidnapped the scientist, and the Foot Clan and Shredder want to use this serum for, you know, evil evil ways or whatever, evil deeds. So it kind of goes from there. Casey Jones, who was in the first movie, he's not in this one at all. I guess the Keno character kind of replaced him. He's kind of like the friend, the backup, turtle guy. And this one's fine. It's a little bit more kid friendly, I think, than the first movie. Whereas, like, Ninja Turtles 90 is a movie literally that kids and adults both could enjoy. Whereas Ninja Turtles 2 is a little bit more for just kids. Like, I can't see, because I'm watching it today, and there's some crazy, goofy shit in it. Like, the mutated animals, Taka and Razor, who
right,
look like
which
Sesame
were
Street characters or something.
those were the what were they, like the ripoffs of they why didn't they use Bebop and Rocksteady? Like that was what they were.
I'm not sure. Like, there's probably some sort of rights issues with some of those characters. Like, maybe some of those characters were owned by the company that did the comic book, and some weren't. Maybe because yeah, the comic book characters, like all the people in the comics, they got, because their names are all over the movie. What is it? Kevin Eastman and
Yeah,
yeah, they're all over it. So because yeah, what was it? Krang? He was never in the
he's the brain. Yeah,
Yeah, he was never in these live action movies either.
it is weird now that I think about it. I didn't really think about it when I was a kid, but like all the figures that I had were all of those. Like you had Bebop and Rocksteady and Krang and like the little fly, whatever the hell his name was.
Baxter Stockman,
Yeah.
brother.
So it's like none of those were in the movies.
Well, the some of the more recent ones that they did, they really went all out with all those toy characters. I think they were all in it, in the ones they did about 10 years ago or something.
Yeah. I remember I just watched this again for the first time like a couple days ago for probably 20 years since I've seen it at least. And like the second film is very like goofy and there's much more emphasis on like one-liners and jokes and the turtles like dancing around and playing grab ass with each other and it's just it's a fine film, I guess. At least the turtles still look basically the same.
Yeah, and it's got a bigger like it's still got a decent enough budget where it looks like enough like the first movie.
Yeah. But it's just something is off about it. It's just much more cartoonish than the first one.
And I don't feel at this point too in this movie that there was any of the heel characters that were like that threatening either. Did you get that? Like they were all kind of like Shredder is kind of even more goofy, and but I mean I enjoyed this for what it was. Now it's nowhere near
Yeah.
as good as the first movie. But man, it is leaps and bounds better than Ninja Turtles 3, which, dude, like I was watching it, like I don't know if I'd ever really sit down and watch the entire movie. I think I'd maybe tried. I rented it on video or something not long after it came out. So Ninja Turtles 2 was like 91. Turtles 3 was just a couple of years later. And we got to mention that Jim Henson and his studio did the turtle costumes and everything in the first two
Yeah.
movies, and they did not in the third movie, and that sticks out like a sore thumb
I was going
immediately.
to
Like,
say, like, I mean, and boy, can you tell that too. I couldn't believe, like, because I've always heard people talk about how bad this movie is. I've never seen it though. I'm pretty sure I've never sat all the way through it. And I turned it on, and I was like, I can, this is insane. Like how crappy those suits look now. And
and this was a mainstream movie. This came out in movie theaters because for some reason, for years, I assumed that this was a direct-to-video sequel because it totally has that feel to it, don't you think?
yes,
It does not seem like something that would have hit movie theaters, but it did. It was number one that opening weekends. It made money, but man, like the after that opening weekend, I think it just dropped off the face of the earth because this is one of those movies that they did not screen ahead of time for reviewers or anything because it was that bad. They were like, no, we can't. And then, like, yeah, word of mouth got out, and this thing pretty much vanished. It probably did okay on home video, just kids wanting to rent it and everything. But yeah, this is definitely the bastard child of this live action Ninja Turtle trilogy in the 90s. And yeah, I mean, it's a weird plot too. So the turtles are in their where are they at? It looks like the same location from the end of part two. Like they got in like an underground bunker area. It's not really a sewer that they're in. But April O'Neil picked them up a bunch of gifts at the flea market, right? Great writing
yeah,
here,
basically,
right?
yeah.
And she got Splinter this scepter looking thing that's like a lamp or whatever. And of course, it transports people back in time. And April is the first to go. She goes back in the 1600s in Japan, samurai, right? So the turtles have to go back, and they figure that the scepter is what is the time traveling device. And yeah, they go back to the 1600s. They wear samurai outfits. This is the least funny of all of the movies. There's nothing funny in this at all, really, aside from the look of the turtles.
So a couple of things are pretty funny about it, but not intentionally.
Right.
Like number one, the voice acting does not match the way that the costume's head moves at all. Like a lot of times it's like the talking still goes on and the mouth can't like keep up with it or something. And you can clearly tell like the eyes of those damn things are so like soulless.
Like wonky.
Yeah, that you can just you're taken completely out of it by the fact you know that's not anything real. That's how bad those suits are, and they look like they've got like a disease or something. The way that they're like got little dots on them, but it's
They've got,
all
yeah, look like they've got liver spots all over them.
it doesn't look anything like real. Um, but the other like big part about it, and I started thinking about this. I was like, this has to be what this is. So they go back in time and they're samurais, and they've got like the full samurai gear on, and they've got I started thinking, did they do that because they could wear the face things over the mouths so that wouldn't look as shitty like when they talk?
Probably, yeah.
Because
It
they've
probably
got those.
saved them. Probably saved them a lot of time.
Because
Because
that's
yeah,
the only thing
when
I
that
could think of.
when they would talk, it was like You remember how they used to make Mr. Ed talk back in the day? He put peanut butter in his
Yeah.
mouth, and he's like,
That's what it
"That's
looks
what it
like.
looked like." Yeah. But yeah, this is easily the worst one. I mean, this is a bad movie. It's very boring. I could see
Yep.
kids kind of getting a kick out of it that don't really know any better. But yeah, this and another interesting thing too, like each one of these movies had different directors. So this wasn't a series where like the same. And I think that was a mistake. I think Steve Barron was the guy that did the
Yeah.
first movie. They should have brought him back. He should have done all of the films, but unfortunately, it didn't happen that way. Yeah, I mean the time travel thing. They could have maybe done that years earlier, but this was already 1993. The time travel aspect that had been done to death by that point. Like how many different, Back to the Future was nearly 10 years old at this point in time. It was just not a very well done movie. It was cool to finally check it out. Now the movie looked great in 4K, oddly enough. But it made those turtles look even worse, I think, seeing them in, you know, clear 4K UHD.
I couldn't believe how bad it was, though. The guy that directed this movie, the part three, had not directed a damn thing notable before that movie or since that movie, and that's the way that it really should be.
Makes you
Well,
wonder how I got that job.
I don't know.
But at the end of the day, if you're a fan of these Ninja Turtles movies, dude, like, and I was thinking back, this is the first set that I've gotten of movies that like obviously was made with love from fans of these films. It reminded me of that initial DVD set that New Line and those guys did, where it's just a perfectly put together set. Like I remember when we first started talking about this, I made like a mock up that looks almost identical to what they actually did. So Arrow did what the fans wanted. I think they did like a separate, like a website exclusive, different art if you wanted to go that route. But yeah, just to kind of showcase the packaging here too. This is like a slip cover, and pull that off there. Ninja Turtles trilogy. There you got the Ooze. And this was like less than $60. I think it's like 57.99 on Amazon right now if anybody is interested. So you get the booklet, which Arrow is, famous for, that looks like a menu of Roy's pizza place that's in the movie. And I did try to dial that number, and it does not work at all. I was wondering if there would be some sort of message on there, but no. This is like it's about a 55, 60 page book here. It does have that smell to it, if anybody's wondering. And each of the movies, like they've got their own separate artwork, but they also have the original art, and I'll show you that on the flip side. And also the extra material in this too, as far as like interviews and stuff. It is nuts how
Well,
much is included on
the
this.
the very first thing I noticed about it that made it completely different than like 90% of the movies that are out now, everything is new, basically. Not everything, but almost like all of it is new. Like almost every interview and commentary has been done in like 2025 for that release, especially on the first and second film. I don't know how much on the third film, but like I
There
did
are
notice
there
that.
are interviews with people from the third movie.
So
They
it's
did it.
like, to me, that's huge because you don't want the Scream Factory approach of like just reporting over shit that's been done for 10 years.
I don't even know what the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 artwork is, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
So yeah, they did the original artwork and some new artwork, and like I said, extra interviews and materials and everything. This is the big poster that's included. And if you want to frame this, this looks like a matte poster here, and it's like a throwback to the comic book artwork, I think. Now, that's from the third movie, right? Isn't that from the third movie?
I can't really see it well enough.
Where they're going back in. Yeah, because they got the samurai shit on. Yeah. So, you get that, right? But they also include so much shit in this. Cards, stickers. Look at this. I'll solo it. Like, I was amazed at just all the extra stuff that's included, like stickers of the Toidles.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, and a whole series of cards.
You got Magic the Gathering cards for the turtles or something.
It really is. You get cards in each. Like, I think there's a couple more cards in each of these editions. So tons of little bonuses. I don't know exactly what these stickers are for, but they're cool. It's always cool to get little bonus items like that. Arrow goes all out, man. So you got more cards here, and you got the card to Roy's Pizza. You get another poster. So if you want to hang them all up, check that shit out.
Yeah, that's a classic poster, man.
And a newly commissioned one there. And you got the same thing for the third movie too. Dude, like, I don't know if anybody can keep up with what they're doing at that price. You know, I mean, you get posters, stickers from each of the movies. And I don't know if anybody would really frame this one, but they did include it.
I'd love to meet the person that frames that.
Well, somebody may meet some people at a convention and be like, hey, sign this, if there's any of them. So, yeah. But, man, I'm really going to put this set over. I think that Arrow hit it completely out of the park with this edition. And I'm not a massive Ninja Turtles guy. I'm very nostalgic for that first movie. I did grow up with it. For the price point, you're looking at $60 for all this stuff. The transfers, there is tons of extra material included. They have had one hell of a 2025, Arrow has. And this is like, I mean, it's taking you back because Christmas is upon us. This would be a killer fucking gift for anybody that's a fan of these movies. Like, this is definitely a gift set. And I don't know if Arrow plans on, this is one of those titles that I think that they could put in Walmart if they could get some sort of distribution deal. People would flock to this. Just the packaging on it, and the fact that you get all the movies and tons of new special features. And I don't know if they're planning that, but this would be a gigantic. People just grab it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like, I think it's probably the best set out this year. I really do. In terms of like the transfer and the special features and the artwork, I think it's the best set. And I'm not even a huge fan of those movies or anything, but just for like what it is and for the fact that they did everything completely right and they did it like for collectors, I think it's the best set of the year.
Man, it's hard to argue with this because I don't think there's anything that I would have done different on this one. They picked the perfect artwork. You know, you can go back in the shows. We said it months and months ago. This is what it needed to be, and they did it. And that's a high recommendation, especially if you're fans of these movies. They've never looked better. They've got tons of new special features on them. It's an amazing package. Pete, there's nothing, I don't think there's anything else that you could ever ask for with the live action Ninja Turtles movies from this period. So this is definitely a standout from the entire year. Possibly, like Uncle Bill was saying, possibly the best box set all year.
I think so. If you're like somebody like poor old Rambo Raff who still doesn't have his, that's bound to be like that's got to be like the set of the year for somebody that's a huge fan of those movies.
Oh yeah.
And,
No doubt.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm excited to check them all out. Me and my wife watched all 3 of them. Great fun. Good throwback to a different time, the early 90s. And Arrow Video has that set's coming out officially on the 15th. Some places are shipping it early. Not going to say where, but check that out. And I guess that is it for the review. Be sure to check us out. We're over at DEADPIT.com. A big thanks goes out to our supporters over at DEADPIT on Patreon.com. You can get hours upon hours of great content, right, Uncle Bill?
There's so many hours of content. We've got reviews. We've got songs. We've got live streams. We've got exclusive streams. We've got non-exclusive streams. We've got streams with all kinds of celebrities and all kinds of different old shows from the past podcast, the initial incarnation of the show. All of that can be yours.
DEADPIT on Patreon.com. Show us a little bit of love. Give us some money because we definitely deserve it. That Patreon page is so killer that you'll rub your bird to it on a nightly basis. It's that good.
You won't be able to contain yourself. You'll have to jerk your bird out and go crazy. I mean, that's how much content that we have. So much content that it's massive, and it will massively smack you in the face.
You'll play with your bird so much, pretty soon you'll be looking around for somebody else's bird to play with.
Hey everybody, it's your favorite Filipino bitch, Miss Slatco Fudd, telling you about shop.deadpit.com. Simply the best horror shirts. On TeePublic, there are others, but they all suck. And it's the best goddamn deal on horror shirts you will ever see. New shirts, old shirts, all the in-between shirts. God damn it, bulls, go over to shop.deadpit.com. You ain't down with that. You can go to fucking hell.